I don't know if Eric tells us when we go live.
It's our chance to. Never mind.
Have you heard the latest quarterly figures?
Are we live? I think. Oh, does Eric? I think we're live.
Oh, we're live.
Hey, DA.
Okay. Hi, Frank.
Hey, Michaela.
Hi, Frank. Hi,
Hey,
Jay.
so where's our live camera? Which camera are we on right now? Are we live? We're live on this camera? Okay, Eric says we're live.
Okay.
Hey, so we want to welcome you to our that camera.
Okay.
Hey, we want to welcome you to our podcast. We represent the Surface team, and I'll do a quick round of introductions. I'll start with myself. I'm Frank Bucholz. I work on the Surface commercial marketing team, where I head up a team that's focused on technical marketing. So I'm usually talking about things like deployment and management and security. But today we're here to talk about Surface Hub because we're excited about the Surface Hub 3 being a new product in the world of Surface, but also in the world of Microsoft Teams rooms. And so I'll kick it over to my counterpart here, David, and known as DA. Why don't you give us a quick introduction?
Thanks, Frank. David Alexander, I'm a principal product manager on the Surface Hub engineering team. It's been a really exciting journey to bring the Microsoft Teams Rooms experience to Surface Hub with the new product Surface Hub 3 and really help push the boundaries of what collaboration means and what customers can achieve with more impactful meeting and collaboration scenarios than ever before. So super exciting journey to be on and product to be working on.
And last but not least, we have Michaela. Michaela, why don't you tell us a little about yourself?
Yeah, my name is Michaela Byrne. I am on the Surface commercial marketing team supporting Surface Hub go-to-market. I have been part of the Hub journey now for a couple of years and been very close to the transition that we're making now to Teams Rooms on Windows and launching Surface Hub 3 and Surface Hub 3 Pack. We are thrilled to be at ISC this week to get the direct feedback from our partners and customers of how this is landing, what they need, what we can do for them to help accelerate the business. But overall, echoing what you both have said, very happy to be here.
Yeah, no, it's exciting. I mean, we have, 50,000 people here. We have to have them come back and have pizza across from us. And when they have their pizza, they can come check out the Surface Hubs that we have in our booth. So come on by if you're around. Talk to David, myself, Michaela. We got folks like Peter Oler in the back there, our engineering. So we have a great contingent. We all came in from Redmond a couple days ago.
Yep.
And we're excited to be here in Barcelona. So one of the big things that we announced, back at Ignite, and then a few weeks before that even, we announced the new Surface Hub 3. The Surface Hub 3 is an evolution to our product line. We've essentially gone from the product being a product that was a standalone device that had a special built operating system on it to now being a Microsoft Teams Room scenario. And maybe, David, just to put you in the position of where do you see, I like to think that there's different types of solution within the Microsoft Teams Room side. But, I think Surface Hub brings a collaboration level that isn't seen in other Microsoft Teams Rooms, like console-based Microsoft Teams Rooms compared to now what the Surface Hub 3 brings. And maybe you can kind of talk a little bit about that pen and touch and interaction and how you see collaboration driving forward in how Microsoft is bringing essentially disruption to the meeting space by asking people to get out of their seats and actually ink and annotate and engage with each other at a beautiful device like the Surface Hub 3.
Yeah. Disruption's a good word, but also I like to think about choice and flexibility and offering customers a spectrum of solutions to outfit their space for whatever the right type of collaboration that they want to have happen in that space. So it's not about picking one solution over another. It's actually about what is the nature of collaboration that needs to happen in that space to achieve the most impact for the team using it. And by being on the same platform, the Microsoft Teams Rooms platform, it now means that customers can standardize on the same platform and drive consistency while also offering a range of devices and integration solutions for the given characteristics of that space. So if it's more traditional meeting room, yes, maybe the projector and the console-based system continues to make sense for the more type of traditional meetings that might need to happen in that space. But if it's a space that can offer more collaborative solutions, get people out of their chairs and collaborate and interact with the device to drive even more ideation, more creativity, more actual interaction as the team might be brainstorming or working together for that style of meeting, then a solution like Surface Hub makes the perfect sense because it's a very intuitive and flexible canvas to get up and use, to touch, to ink, to use voice, and have brainstorming and ideation together, not just the traditional, PowerPoint presentation-based meeting. And in those contexts, having a device like Surface Hub, which is built with premium pen and ink and touch technology, allows the technology to fade to the background and give people that collaborative experience that they really want in the moment, and that can really help serve the needs of the people in that space.
Yeah, that's so well said. And here we are in the Microsoft Teams booth, essentially as part of Microsoft. But Michaela, you as a person that owns essentially the business, and the kind of the selling through, I would wonder, like, from your perspective of us going from more of a niche meeting room device to now a Microsoft Teams room device, excuse me, maybe you can talk about the partnership that we have with Microsoft Teams and how we've essentially integrated into that story flow of being a first party device representing essentially the best of Microsoft, but also the flow that we would say now that we're combined in that space.
Yeah.
What does that bring in your eyes?
Yeah, that's a really good point. I mean, I want to just take a step back of where we've come as or the journey we've been on as a business. And we've all been on these last few years as we've migrated to hybrid work. I mean, before, yes, Surface Hub was a very niche product and it did a niche set of things. And the way that we worked was different. We were all still coming into the office pretty consistently and looking for different ways to collaborate and partner together and evaporate and dissolve the barriers and walls that we have in the traditional meeting room. Now doing this with Teams, we're able to dissolve those boundaries all the more. So of course, we should think differently. We're thinking different on how we meet, how we collaborate. Our devices we should think about our devices differently as well. What is great about the partnership we have with the Teams team now is we're bringing that cohesive experience to our customers that rely on premium, best-in-class hardware. And now they can have that same look and feel that they have on a Teams meetings room and bring that to Surface Hub. For us, that means that we're able to engage a new set of customers we haven't been able to in the past. We're able to bring the same consistent experience that Microsoft offers to those same customers. And then we're able to tell a much more inclusive and cohesive story with Teams rooms, one that before it was rather bespoke relative to the rest of the ecosystem.
Well, no, I love that. It's the idea why we created the Surface Hub 3. We wanted to bring that more parity towards the experience that customers were seeing in Microsoft Teams rooms, because they were now ubiquitous throughout enterprises and how enterprises collaborate and talk to each other. But now we're part of that ecosystem. But the slide that we have behind us kind of tells this story of essentially some differentiated experiences that Surface Hub brings. And maybe I'll start with one of my favorites is with the 50-inch device. The idea that the 50-inch now introduces rotation, and it introduces this idea that different modalities of work are now available to you, and they open up new capabilities. Back in the day, I don't know if it was David when he was one of our PMMs, or essentially that we coined this phrase, turn any space into a collaborative workspace. And when you have a device like the 50-inch Surface Hub that's on a Steelcase roam stand that you can roam if you want to, you essentially have this integration of a Schneider Electric battery that gives you 100 minutes of battery life. So you can literally roll that device into any space. Yesterday, we had a partner pre-day, and we literally rolled that device across about a mile down the convention center here. And the whole time we have this live device that could essentially communicate no matter where it is. Just like this Surface Pro has the ability to move around, I can move that device around and communicate because it can be untethered from wherever it is. But the rotation capability brings this modality of saying, hey, maybe I'd rather see more of the person that I'm communicating with. I can see more than just their face. I can see their body language and gestures and all these other pieces. And it just brings that piece to life. David, I wonder if you can talk a little bit about maybe just being on the engineering team, the premium quality that goes into designing our products, and just the precision and care but also just the integration of things like rotation aware AV. Maybe you can even address some of what that even means.
Yeah, I mean, Portrait is a great example of where we meticulously design the product with a ton of sophistication to drive that streamlined experience for the customer, where actually the technology does fade to the background. It's through the mechanical engineering sophistication that actually the ease of doing something like rotating Surface Hub into Portrait comes into play. And it actually isn't perfectly centered as a rotation axis. When you rotate the device, the center actually shifts slightly.
Right.
So everything is carefully planned to make sure that when the device ends up in Portrait, it actually is still at the perfectly scaled height to give that experience of having a more proportional body-sized human on the other end of your one-to-one call, or be at the perfect height for using a portrait modality for whiteboarding.
Right.
We know that customers are still getting into the mindset of using a digital whiteboard, and it can be a little intimidating sometimes for somebody to get up and use a digital whiteboard that they've never used before. It can be embarrassing to mess up in front of your peers when you don't get to practice with that technology all the time. And so having an easel-style portrait modality that looks a little bit more like those analog whiteboards or easels that customers are used to using for decades,
Right.
with markers, for example, that can actually break down those barriers. And so it's an example of where very thoughtful mechanical design can actually help reduce the barriers to entry and sort of create a more egalitarian experience and draw people in to start using those new paradigms of digital whiteboarding that then sets them up to do all the more powerful things now that that whiteboard is in the digital space, with collaboration, persisting the whiteboard for future use once you're
Right.
out of the meeting or for the next time you want to meet with the same people. Getting all the benefits out of that digital ecosystem starts with that comfort and intuitiveness of the hardware design.
Yeah. I mean, one of my favorite features of any Surface product is the pen. And this pen is essentially an active pen. The idea that an active pen has electricity coming out the tip of the pen, and it actually interfaces with a sensor that's embedded or bonded to the glass. You know, the type of capability means that when you walk up to a Surface Hub and you draw on it, there's no latency. Essentially, ink comes out of the pen, magically, but it's all in an electronic form. That 120 hertz sensor bonded with a 120 hertz display does provide the best pen and touch device. And I would welcome those that are in and around our booth today to come over to our 50-inch device or this 85 behind me and interact with it and feel what that seems like. Because when we're asking people to get out of their seats and interact with these devices, it's disruptive. It's not natural to them. But they're also doing it in front of their coworkers, and it can be a little embarrassing if it doesn't work right. But with a device like the Surface Hub, where you grab the pen and it works exactly how you expect it to, that just leads to greater degrees of adoption in the product. And so, Michaela, I'm wondering, when it comes to adoption, if you've seen in the selling of our product, essentially how adoption and essentially like a pilot of the product, how do we get our customers to get better experiences? But, is there a degree of training or readiness that helps lead to further sales? And, if a customer was to take on this new product that's different in their meeting space, how can they foresee greater degrees of getting that product adopted by their workforce?
Yeah, that's a great question. And you're absolutely right. Once our customers touch and feel Hub, there is no match, right? And I also really, really love your example of creating an inclusive work environment by giving them technology that they are confident in using, giving them technology that they can rely on and make sure that they're going to be successful when they're adopting it. We know when we put Hub in the hands of our customers that they're successful. So of course, we're continuing to invest in areas and channels in which you can come and try Surface Hub. That includes some Microsoft resources such as our MTCs and EBCs, but also equipping our channel partners to be able to demo Surface Hub. Our channel partners do have a program where they're able to procure demo devices at a discounted price. We want to continue to invest in that program to ensure we're maximizing the number of end users that can try Hub. In addition to that, with the launch of the Surface Hub 3 pack, we're able to evangelize the new software experience to our existing Hub 2S customers. Surface Hub customers now have a way to upgrade to the new experience and enable portrait mode without having to buy a Surface Hub 3. it's a great opportunity, one, for customers to go back to Hub and work through how they're using the device within their environment, but also for us to go back and show them what the value is of of Teams rooms on Windows and the magic of being part of this all-up Microsoft platform.
Yeah. No, I think that's the thing is like, what's the right size product and how does it fit and how does we gain greater adoption around that? But one of the interesting things, I'm sharing a slide right now, is around archetypes. Archetypes are essentially the design characteristics of a room and then the type of people that would come in and use that room. You know, I like to think that there's different kinds of rooms. There's some rooms that are built for what I think of as consumption, meaning that you can see the people, you can hear them, you can see the presentation, but there's other rooms that are built more for collaboration. And David, I know that you've been working with our real estate and facilities teams at Microsoft themselves. I mean, Microsoft has tens of thousands of meeting rooms of our own.
Yep.
And we essentially build out this location called the Hive, which has all these different archetypes that you can see behind us. But maybe you can tell us a little bit about your dealings with the Hive and our real estate and facilities group as to where Surface Hub fits best into some types of meeting rooms. Because it's not for every meeting room, is it? It's essentially meets certain characteristics around collaboration, but maybe you can kind of feed in a little more into that.
Yeah, so our Microsoft facilities team or Microsoft Digital, they definitely are kind of on the front edge or leading edge of designing different room paradigms and room styles, different types of deployments of solutions, both furniture as well as AV. And we've had a great time working with them on not only where does Hub fit, but actually what does it actually mean to create a space that can be collaborative? We don't really distinguish anymore that like this is a room where like there's a special room you go to do collaboration, and then other rooms are not rooms where collaboration is happening. It's about what is the style of collaboration, what is the type of meeting that needs to happen in the space that will define the characteristics of ergonomics, where we sit, where we stand, how we interact with the furniture as well as the technology. And then whether having an interactive canvas for that Teams rooms experience like Surface Hub makes the most sense. Should it be in the front of the room? Should it be on the side of the room? Should there be a Surface Hub in coordination, what we call coordinated meetings mode, with a projector or screen-based MTR situation? Or should there be a single front of room interactive Surface Hub deployment of that Microsoft Teams rooms experience? And the answer is, it's not one solution meets all. It's having a variety of these archetypes that start with what the customer is trying to achieve in that room, the types of experiences they want to provide for their users in that room, that then defines what is the right type of deployment to have there, where you can then decide on the level of interactivity. And if you do want that interactive experience, then Surface Hub is going to sort of break down those barriers, like I was saying, to helping people get up and using that canvas in a very flexible way. Everything from the pen, touch, and voice experience to all the characteristics I was talking about, especially with the 50-inch device, on being able to choose from an agile perspective, whether you use it in landscape or portrait, even during the meeting and changing throughout.
Well, I point out, like, we have some rooms, like even this room right here, that essentially is like this signature room where we have a Microsoft Teams room that's on a projected display, but on the side of the room, you might have a Surface Hub, which is complementary. But you could also have different rooms where literally you walk into the room and the Surface Hub is at the front of the room and is now like the signature device in that space. So there's many different ways that we can integrate these solutions in order to bring to life the best capability in that space.
And I think the beauty too now of being on the Microsoft Teams Rooms platform and being on the Teams Rooms on Windows platform is that we integrate with all sorts of Teams Rooms certified peripherals, which means when you can put the hub in the front of the room and integrate it with those ceiling mics and speakers or the other peripheral-based solutions that a customer wants to put in that kind of define what it means to be a front-of-room solution, Surface Hub can now play and integrate with all that and really give the customer what they need in that space from a total deployment standpoint. I know you had the slide, so I was trying to teach that up.
Exactly. I mean, I think for me, it's the idea that we're sitting here next to, New Reva, and they've got some amazing solutions on their wall right next to us. And they've got all these different audio solutions. And so the story would be, when we think about Surface Hub, is it only the integrated, solutions of camera, speaker, and microphone? Or is it along the line of what do we say about other teams' peripherals? And maybe even Michaela, from a standpoint of like customers taking their existing AV that's team certified, or partners that are looking to have more profitability even in some of their sales and being able to tie solutions together. Maybe you can talk a little bit about the evolution of Surface Hub 3 is now being a Teams Rooms device, but how it integrates with other Teams peripherals.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, as far as Hub 2S goes, it's an amazing device, but we were really limited in our ability to tell that cohesive end-to-end story around Teams Rooms. So yes, beautiful device. We're putting it in small, medium-sized conference rooms, but they were saying, hey, I want to integrate this with my broader Teams Rooms infrastructure and make sure that this fits in any size meeting room. And then how can I incorporate it into my existing investments? So now the fact that we do integrate with third-party peripherals, we are able to put Surface Hub in any meeting size room. But what that also means for our partners is they can also tell a more cohesive and complete story. They can make sure that Hub is integrated within that space. And there's a services opportunity for our partners there now too that hasn't been there before. The opportunity is not just selling Hub as a device, but it's making sure that Hub is part of a broader suite of collaboration tools and solutions that bring our customers the best experiences in this new hybrid work model that we have today.
Yep. You know, and the thing that I'll finish with here is something David mentioned was that this is a Windows device. And that means you can essentially deploy the device with tools like Windows Autopilot. You can manage it with Teams Admin Center, but even more, you can manage it with the new Pro Portal. And the Pro Portal allows you from a single pane of glass. I could essentially sit here at this computer, this Surface Pro 9, and I could administer hundreds of devices through this one device. And because of that, that allows me now to even be able to log in to these devices remotely. Like for years and years, people wanted us to say, hey, how do I remotely log in to see the problems that my customer that is using this device halfway around the globe? Because I don't have a technician that's right there in order to go look at it. And now with the Pro Portal, you can essentially log straight into that device. You can see exactly what they see in the room. And you can even get down at the Windows level and change settings or look at the logs and be able to look at that management. So when I think of Surface Hub, it's not just about the user experience, it's about the AI enterprise management of that, because we haven't just taken a device that we're like, take out of the box, put up on the wall, let people use it. We're now able to say that the device is securely managed from one location or multiple locations across the globe in a very easy way. And I wonder, David, if you have any final thoughts on that.
Well, not only done in an easy and remote way, but also managed in a consistent way with the additional devices in that organization's infrastructure ecosystem than just the meeting and collaboration devices. So to be able to in-tune manage Surface Hubs because they're on the Windows-based platform, using the same familiar Windows management tools that they use to manage their enterprise PCs, for example, is a really powerful value proposition for enterprise IT, thinking about what devices do I want to get that will actually be the most streamlined and secure to manage, as well as drive a security and compliance story around for my organization, not just the end user capabilities as well. And that whole experience, the end-to-end experience, not only for the end users doing the collaboration, but the IT organization managing the totality of the ecosystem around that collaboration, ends up being what's very, very important to our customers. Yeah. We have that rich history in providing organizations with these tools.
Yeah. Well, let's finish up. So Michaela, maybe we come back and say, what's something you're excited about that you're planning to do while you're still here in Barcelona or in the show floor or other pieces?
I mean,
on your bucket list still?
Number one is to hear from our partners and customers. I mean, we've been here for all of a couple hours and I already have so much energy just hearing how customers are responding to, of course, Surface Hub 3, but the challenges that they're facing, not just in today's world, but getting ahead of as we think about the future of technology and hybrid work. I leave these conferences so energized after spending a week with partners and customers. So just more of that. I really want to get into the weeds on how can we continue to support you? What is the action items that we can take back to our desks when we go home? And I have a feeling we're going to go home busy and we're going to go home energized too. And that's the best combination for a trip in Barcelona.
So what about you, DA? What's on your bucket list that you want to finish up while you're here in Barcelona?
Yeah, I mean, Barcelona is a fantastic city, so there's all the experiences of understanding culture, food, experience, everything. But in terms of being here at ISE, to piggyback off of what Michaela was saying, it's actually reminding ourselves that we are all here together to help people achieve more and to do more and do better, more efficiently,
right,
in their organizations, to collaborate and get their work done and to be productive together as a team. And so it's not just Microsoft here trying to sell this week at ISE. We're actually here to partner with our partners and our customers to help everyone just do more and do better.
To learn from them as well.
Right,
I mean, we certainly don't have all the answers, but we're taking it one day at a time. So I want to say thank you so much. Thank you, Michaela. Thank you, David. That wraps it up for our podcast. Come to I think the next podcast, if I have to look at the schedule, starts with Lenovo coming in and talking about their amazing Microsoft Teams Room products as well, likely running Windows on a lot of their products. So super excited. So thanks a lot, and we'll talk to you again real soon. Bye for now.